The villagers woke up to find their world collapsing. The administrator is preparing to summon multiple disasters to strike them. Monsters from various parallel universes will appear one by one. See by the end of the video how many villagers will survive until the end. First to appear is the mutated Sonic. His hollow eyes filled with killing intent instantly locked onto the unsuspecting villagers. In an instant, the peaceful village was shrouded in the shadow of death. Wherever he went, wails of despair rose up. Facing Sonic's swift and fierce assault, the villagers were like lambs waiting to be slaughtered. 500 villagers were slaughtered in an instant. Seeing this situation, the remaining villagers desperately fled towards the temple nearby. Meanwhile, Sonic began running at insane speeds around the temple's perimeter. His speed reached its extreme. The ground he passed over became scorched as if by blazing fire, gradually turning into scalding hot magma. The nearby mountains erupted as a result of the impact. For a moment, the earth shook and the mountains trembled. Scorching magma gushed out from within the temple. The villagers were terrified. In panic, they jumped directly downward without thinking. This led to the unfortunate deaths of as many as 500 villagers, before the villagers who had just escaped the temple could catch their breath. They were frightened out of their wits by the aftermages created by Sonic. As they turned to find another way, they were mercilessly swallowed by the pursuing magma. At the critical moment, the villager king stepped forward, went straight towards Sonic. He earnestly pleaded for the villagers to be spared, and said the admin was the true culprit behind the scenes. Upon hearing this, the admin remained unruffled and threatened. "I can create you, and I can delete you. If you dare disobey me, I'll make you vanish on the spot." Unexpectedly, Sonic directly manipulated the code and disabled the admin's creative mode. The situation took a sharp turn for the worse. The anxious administrator hastily summoned the astronaut zombie. As the astronaut zombies surged forward, the villager count instantly dropped by 800. Sonic weaved through the horde of zombies. No matter how fast he was, he could hardly withstand the vast tide of the undead. Ultimately, Sonic, covered in exhaustion and wounds, upon reaching the administrator, completely depleted his energy and collapsed weakly. Then they were devoured by astronaut zombies, but the villagers did not despair. They diligently gathered all available resources, working together to build towering walls to prevent the invasion of astronaut zombies. The pace of development within the city never ceased. Rows of houses rose from the ground. Vast farmlands spread across the village. This ensured the villagers' future food supply. A market also emerged accordingly. Villagers can exchange necessary resources here for better management and survival. They even established their own social hierarchy. The city is divided into 3 zones in total. The king and royal family reside within the first wall. The middle class lives within the second wall, while the working class resides within the third wall. This protects them from space zombies. Seeing such an elaborately constructed defense system, the administrator also devised an excellent method to breach it. That is the giant summoned from the Forbidden Land. As expected, the giant, with an overwhelming force, quickly breached the outermost wall. Houses were easily destroyed like fragile building blocks. Helpless villagers could only scramble towards the inner area. Under the giant's first fierce attack, as many as 1,000 villagers suffered tragic fates. By now the giant army had reached outside the second wall. Just as they were preparing to break through, the city wall suddenly exploded. It turned out that the villagers had secretly planted many landmines underground in advance. After waiting for the giants to step on them and detonate, a breach would be blown open below. When the giants continued forward, they would get stuck. The villagers cleverly exploited the giants' low intelligence, deliberately setting traps to injure and immobilize them. Finally, the astronaut zombies lurking nearby swarmed in, watching the giants they had placed high hopes on, now becoming a feast for the zombies. This was unacceptable to the administrator, so he summoned the terrifying doll from Squid Game again. He appeared holding a super machine gun, directly launching a fierce attack on the villagers' wall. Under the bombardment of countless shells, huge cracks appeared in the wall. The number of villagers dropped sharply by 2,000 again. Just as the doll was about to enter the villagers' second wall, a mysterious barrier suddenly appeared. It turned out the villager scientists had long been researching the multiverse, conducted in-depth exploration and research. They managed to obtain technology from other universes to stop the administrator. The barrier just now was the new technology they learned from Wakanda. At this moment, the administrator looked at the terrifying puppet. He actually aimed the machine gun in his hand at himself. It turned out that the villagers had received help from Iron Man. Now they can remotely control the terrifying puppet to attack the administrator. At a critical moment, the administrator took a desperate gamble. Directly summoned Thanos from the Marvel world. The bullets fired by the terrifying doll instantly turned into butterflies. Thanos descending with the Infinity Gauntlet. Like a savior, it rescued the administrator from danger. Then he snapped his fingers. The villagers on the ground began to turn to dust. Just when the administrator thought victory was assured, he discovered the king had assembled an elite team. They arrived before a mysterious portal. By the time the administrator regained his senses, only then did he realize Thanos was gradually disappearing. It turns out the villagers used time travel to get ahead of Thanos, and obtained the Infinity Gauntlet first. Using its immense power, Thanos was instantly erased from existence. All previously deceased villagers were revived. Not only that, the gauntlet also granted the villagers extraordinary reproductive speed. Their population has now surged to 1 million. The administrator's villager clearance plan has failed once again.